What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I've had many of you brothers email me on the Tyre Nicols situation. And of course, he was a brother that lived in my city, Sacramento, California, and brother Nicols went to Memphis and was working in Memphis. And of course, as we know, he was pulled over for reckless driving. And then after being pulled over, it seems that the young man resisted arrest or ran away. And of course, I'm not going to play the video. I don't think it's necessary to play the video because you've seen it. My mother has shown me the video. My good brother, friend Marcus, has showed me this. Most of you brothers have also sent me this also. But what I like to do is I'd like to weigh in on the outcome. Now, before I weigh on the outcome, Mr. Jason Whitlock had something to say on both ends. He's going to talk about the police officers, 5 of them, who have all been arrested because we know Mr. Tyre Nicols, he passed away from the injuries of the beating he received. And then also him fleeing the scene. I want to play brother Jason Whitlock's response to him on Tucker Carlson. Now, what we're going to do is we're not going to show the video of him actually responding. We'll just use his voice because the video in the background is too graphic for YouTube. And then we'll come back.
This is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected or put some black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority, that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not.
Now, the answer is Tyre Nicols responsible for his own death? Could he have avoided death? And you know what? When I used to see these situations, I used to believe that, these young black guys are out here being stupid. They are dumb. How can they not know that if you resist arrest, these guys might hurt you? That's so stupid. But now, that was before I actually thought about it. Even if a person resists arrest, why do they need to die? Your job is to still use your police training to apprehend the individual, because that's why we pay you, right? I know they're resisting. They should not be resisting. We get it. But it doesn't give you the right to, okay, well, we're resisting. Let me beat you until you have like a cardiac arrest, or you die because you have, liver failure. Let me beat you into that. And just because, the guy is not, let's say, able to make that change to stop resisting arrest. Okay. Now, are these guys product of single parent homes? I don't know. The police chief he talked about is married. But what he talks about, and I'm talking about Jason Whitlock, is all too common in Black America. Black cities that uphold that, hey, you know what? No man in the house is needed. And I've seen it. I come from Del Paso Heights. Like, I know exactly how it works there. A lot of this is right. You have these guys out here who are too stupid to realize that, hey, you have a body cam. It's 5 of you. You can subdue the guy. Of course, you're beating the guy to the pulp because you guys are out here like Pookies with badges. And again, this is Memphis. This is Memphis. And I'm gonna tell you what happens. A lot of times as black men, we think that black police officers won't mess us up. Yes, they will. Black police officers, well, listen, can hate you just as much as the white one. And all at the same time, these are brothers out there. You don't know what, what part of the day they living in, how they feeling that day. They're still men. And again, when you're resisting arrest, you also got to know that these guys can be a little crazy. But it don't mean that you got to die. It don't mean you got to die. And the fact that the man was calling for his mom, that just lets you know when you're about to die and you're calling for your mother, it lets you know what kind of community that we're living in. We are living in a community where we have a lot of emotional men. I'm going to give a shout out to my brother Marcus. His father was a father figure to me when I was coming up. I won't mention the guy's last name, but his father was so masculine in the way he handled situations. Didn't show a whole lot of emotion and things. Just very calculated and handled himself like a man. And when you're young, you don't really get to see that. But now as you get older, you understand like how some of my friends who have fathers and father figures in their life, I had a grandfather in my life, and the guys that didn't, what happened to them? Because you don't know how to deal with authority. Or when you're in a position of authority, you know how to abuse it. This might be a guy that you feel is not that bright and he's resisting arrest, but he's supposed to be able to go home that night. If he don't want to break loose, all 5 of y'all grab the guy, restrain him, let him yell whatever, you get him in the back of the car, then you take him to jail. It's solved. But now he dies and you guys, or your life is over. All of you guys are going to get convicted of this. You'll never be an officer again. And then when you get to the penitentiary, it's going to be all bad. All for what? All for what? And yes, I got to blame some of this on, the fact that people are raised by single parents. But let me just say this real quick. That's not the excuse today. Because the thing about it is that you know right from wrong, right? That's the whole thing. You have training. You were able to pass the police academy. You know you have body cams. See, just because you were raised by a single parent, and yet it does look like a Pookie or situation, but hey, you had white men that had both of their parents that do this, right? And I do understand, yes, we do have that, but I'm not gonna blame it solely on that. A lot of these black men just hate each other, irrespective of who raised them or not. And everybody got a choice. You didn't have one of those officers saying, hey, look, we need to stop this. Or hey, look, let's just grab him. There was no sort of judgment there. No sort of judgment there. One of the officers has been accused of using excessive force in the behalf. And again, in these black cities where these guys are dealing with these crazy dudes, but don't be a police officer anymore. So part of that, it comes from single parent homes. Yes. Well, part of that comes into these guys training. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.